So to start with, can you tell us a little bit about Our Eyes Looking for God and the character that you play?
I play a character called Johnny, and it's basically a story about two cousins who are essentially brother equivalents. They grew up together, they grew up in the same household in an area in Toxteth in Liverpool. And my character, Johnny, is sort of at an impasse. He's sort of trying to figure out where he wants his future to be, who he wants to become, the kind of things he wants to do. He's a bit of a dreamer and he sees his future in London and he wants to go and set himself up in London. The problem with that is obviously dealing with the departure from your current family and especially your cousin. So we deal with the sort of, I'd say we deal with the process of that. It's their last night together, going out and celebrating him leaving. We explore his family and the family dynamics, but we also address things like state violence, and we also talk about the relationship between the community and the police, which is very, very essential in the story without giving too much away.
When I was reading the write-up, a lot of this was inspired by Black Lives Matter. Yeah, so that kind of makes sense to me, exactly what you're saying. So the piece brings together opera, theatre, and rap. What has it been like working across those different forms, and how does this shape your performance? Do you do all three of them, or is it just one?
Well, I mean, for the first question, how does it feel? It is absolutely hectic. Uh, it's so crazy. It's so crazy. It's like, I mean, I'm so honored to be in this room because it's not only is it a new form, like I've never done a play like this. I've never shared a stage with live instrumentation either. And blending those different languages is it's been amazing. So yeah. And then on opera on top of that, no, I won't be singing. So nobody has to worry about covering their ears when I'm when I'm on stage. I will not be singing. But I partake musically in other forms, and we have Temba, who is singing the opera, who is absolutely magnificent. He's an incredible opera singer. Yeah, so I'm really grateful to share the stage with him.
I mean, I've never really seen anything that's kind of mixed all three
Mm.
together. So yeah, I'm really intrigued to see how it all comes together because I mean, I've never really watched opera before, but I know there's so much skill in there. So to kind of see rap, opera, and then everything else merged together is something it's very interesting to me. What was it about this project and the character that you're playing that made you want to be a part of it?
Honestly, it was the challenge of it all. Me as an actor, I care about variety. I'm not interested in just being seen for a certain type of role. I'm not interested in that. And people who look through my career, they can see that I take on different roles, and that's very intentional. I want to have a career where people look back and say, okay, he really took risks, he really tried things, he really stepped out of his comfort zones. And I think that only helps me as a person. So I enjoyed the challenge of this. These are two boys from Toxteth, Liverpool, so already you're adopting a new accent, you're adopting a new style, a different way to walk, a different way to hold your body in a space, stuff like that. That really encourages me because it really pushes me, and we've got a magnificent director in TD who is so helpful and meticulous and careful and precise. When you have somebody like that, you feel supported. So I know I can throw anything at her and she can throw anything at me, and we're just in here together and we're just cooking and we're trying things, and some things work and some things don't. I don't know. I feel like as an actor, it's important to fail upwards, and what I mean by that is being in a space and knowing that I can try something which may not work, but you're not penalized for it. Sometimes it's like, in auditions, you might be like, oh, if I made that decision better, would I have got the role or whatever? And you're dealing with the fallout and the rejection and all that kind of stuff. But when you're in a room like this, which feels so unique, you can just bring things to the table. Your collaboration is celebrated. The ideas that you have, they're championed. And yeah, I think it's really rare. So yeah, it's really the challenge of it all. And I sort of relate to Ajani's character just by being a dreamer and wanting more for your life and being in a certain environment which you may feel isn't necessarily conducive to being successful, but also having ties there, and those emotional ties and dealing with the detachment and reattachment can really affect how you see things and the decisions you make. and essentially he looks up to his cousin Kamal. Yes, he wants to go and do this thing, but at the same time, there is a bond here. There is a love here. There is a deep connection and relationship here that he doesn't want to lose.
So the piece explores Black boyhood through joy, love, as well as grief, fear, and state violence. How did you find the balance between those different emotions in your performance or in the rehearsal?
For me, how I tend to look at these things is I always try and bring a piece of me to the character. And I do that because it allows me to ground myself in the character and start from a basis of truth. So when we're talking about state violence, I've got multiple experiences dealing with the police. So that's an immediate connection, dealing with fear, dealing with sadness, dealing with detachment, dealing with happiness, dealing with all of those things. I have moments in my life where I can attach myself to a journey. And then when you have those parallels, it then allows you to build and go, do you know what? That moment there actually isn't necessary. Maybe I need to find something over this side from just purely a character's perspective. And sometimes it's like, do you know what? This moment actually feels very similar to something I have experienced. Maybe that's useful. And then you take from there. And it's just that thing of just building because right now we're in week 2, so we're still very much just enjoying this process and making offers and changing things and tweaking things. And we have to remember, like, there's the script is there and it's amazing and it's great, but there are other languages. There's a musical language that people will receive. There's a movement language that people will see and understand. There's the rapping, there's the singing. There's so many things compounded into one, alongside the script that really enhance those moments and really take those emotional journeys. It's just a lot of fun. Really and truly, it's just a lot of fun, man. I'm having so much fun. I'm tired, but I'm really, really loving it. It's amazing. It's amazing because I just love working with her because I just think she really understands me and I think I really understand her and our processes just align. So sometimes she would have an idea and I'll have an idea and it's like, oh, that's exactly, oh yeah, cool, let's try that. And it's just that thing of being practical, being on our feet, trying things and knowing that you can, knowing that you can, and anything that needs to be tweaked, all the details, I can just leave the T to do. She can, because she will point it out for me, anything that I've missed, and I can just adopt that work and then go and do what's necessary. And I just think, just as an actor, it's always nice to be trusted. It's always nice to feel trusted when a director knows that you can deliver the vision that they see. I think that I take that responsibility very seriously. So I really enjoy when I know a director trusts me, because that makes me want to go and just run through even more walls for them. Do you know what I mean?
Of course, yeah, 100%. You mentioned before about there being dance, so there is obviously a strong movement element to the production. How does dance help you tell or help the story be told that words can't?
I think the dance that we are currently developing with Mateus, and an ensemble cast who are absolutely magnificent, by the way. I think what we're trying to do is, and I may be wrong, Mateus may be like, what the hell did you just say? But I think what we're trying to do is we're taking the lyricism, right? But we're building on that. So we're creating a feeling from sometimes it's like I might be rapping and I'm saying lyrics and whatever, but there could be something in there that they hold on to, draw from that and express that via the movement. And it just allows the audience to sit in different moments and really pick out those moments. And I think it also just shows us in different lights. Sometimes it's difficult to express what you're saying via words only, and to have the ensemble there to really turn certain things and really express certain things and open up the floor. It just adds another layer. We talk about so many dark themes and we say some dark things and it's quite heavy for two young black men to just carry on our own. So even for myself, just as a performer, to know that I can share that with the rest of the guys and we can all carry each other through it is just great.
You're working with artists from some really different creative backgrounds, as we've said before, opera, dance, so many different people. What has surprised or excited you the most about the rehearsal process in week 2?
even though we are still layering and we are still detailing and we are still coloring things in, I am really excited for people to just see this thing. You know, we've had little dribs and drabs of people coming in and taking pictures and getting some press stuff. When we show them a scene or we show them something that we're doing, you can just see immediately like they have been absorbed into the world and they're just like, wow, what is this? I need to see more. And that makes it really exciting. I'm excited to show it to a world that I'm not familiar with, like the dance world, the opera world, you know, to share those audiences and merge all those audiences together and put them in a place to watch something like this. So that excites me probably the most, actually.
It will definitely attract dance worlds, and then you'll get opera world that don't tend to maybe watch dance pieces. So it's like nice to see like there'll be just a variety of audience members that will get to see the story being told that they most probably would never usually get to see. So the piece asks is, what is opera for? What do you think someone who doesn't usually go to the opera might find surprising or exciting about this production?
I mean, in terms of the opera, I would say from my experience before doing this play, I had not been to an opera, had not met an opera singer, especially a black one, you know, and I've managed to meet to just hearing, I think hearing Temba's voice, it moves you whether you like it or not. It comes from somewhere just so visceral. It's really special, honestly. And I think when you marry that with the text and the settings and the lights, and I think it's really gonna serve its purpose in the space. Hopefully it encourages more productions like this to merge these different disciplines. And yes, they are completely different, but there is a way to get them all together. There's a way to tell a brilliant story and have dance and have rap and have opera and have live percussion. There is. And that's something that we're trying to do. Is it is probably a one of its kind. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's really exciting, honestly. Like, yeah, I could talk about this for ages, but yeah, it's just really exciting. I just think the message and just everything we're trying to do, and we're just all working so hard and we're all working together. There's so many people with so many great ideas.
When audiences leave our eyes looking for God, what do you hope stays with them?
There is a massive conversation about state violence in the community that really needs to be addressed. And I think at this moment in time, everybody feels everything feels so polarizing. It's like you're this or you're that, or you have this views and you're totally against those views. I think all of those things can be so divisive. I think at the end of the day, there is right and there is wrong, and there is a lot of things that have happened that are just wrong, and because of people's political views or because of the way where people are in terms of class and race and all this kind of thing, they would ignore that. And I just think like something like this can hopefully be a catalyst to uncomfortable conversations, but with positive results and positive outcomes. So on that side, I hope for that. I also hope people can just come and sit down and enjoy and see a multidisciplined show and just see people working hard on stage in service of the audience. I hope people leave feeling fulfilled. I hope they leave with a bit of joy. I mean, it's not, obviously there's some of the dark themes that we touch on, so it's not always going to be a joyous thing. But I think the joy in celebrating good work can sort of hold its own and hold a space.
So my last bit is some very quick fire questions. Favorite theatre venue? So it could be one you've either performed in or one you've seen something in that you've loved.
Off the top of my head, Donmar.
Okay, nice. Favorite theatre show that you've either seen or been in?
Ooh. I wish I had more time. Oh my God. The favorite show. Can I just give a show that I really enjoyed being in?
Yes.
Favorite show that I enjoyed being in, I would say two. I did a play in I think it's 2016 or 2017 called Pot, written by Ambrina Mazia. Really loved that play. That was amazing. We toured the UK and everything. We was at Stratford East Theatre. I love that play. I'd probably say my first ever job, Kingston 14 at the Royal Stratford East Theatre. I think that was a real introduction to the industry, but at the same time, I was really spoiled. I was so spoiled. The actors were everybody was so amazing and attentive and caring, and I had literally just booked that role. I wasn't even an actor yet. I didn't have an agent. I was working as a security guard, and I stepped in that room and everybody made me feel valued. and everybody was able to show me the ropes and show me what needs to be done and how a rehearsal room is run. And I think a lot of what I do now is because I was able to sit, listen, receive, and absorb all the lessons that was given to me in that room. There were other places where I picked up stuff, other places where I've learned stuff. But I think that being the first play that I ever did professionally really set the tone for how I carry myself and the decisions I make and so many other things in this industry.
Dream guest, someone you would love to see Our Eyes Looking for God. They can be dead or alive.
Dead or alive. I would really love my granddad to have been there. Like I'm not he wasn't around to see any of this journey. And I would really, yeah, I would have loved him to have been able to sit and just watch and just see how far I've come and to see where I am now and just the kind of things that I want to do moving forward.
That's really nice. Your proudest career moment to date?
It's a really tough question. It's hard. I'm in a space where, although I appreciate the stuff that I have done, I'm still very cognizant that I've got a very long way to go. So sometimes I can get into this thing where I don't actually look at accomplishments because I don't feel like I've reached the accomplishment. And, I know people say, you got to appreciate every step and all that kind of stuff, but I'm very much I'm like that kind of, I'm just the kind of tunnel vision kind of person where I don't want to look at it too much. I try not to look at anything I've done. I'm grateful to be in this space and I'm grateful that this is my life. But I just feel like until I get to that place where I can feel like, oh, okay, then I might be able to answer that properly.
Okay, so TBC.
TBC.
The person who's had the greatest impact on your career as an actor?
I mean, I have to say Clint Dyer. I think the fact that he took a chance on me and gave me that job, Kingston 14, gave me that opportunity to change my life essentially. Him and another guy, Steve McCauley, really saw something in me. I probably would be in the industry, but maybe it'd be a different way. But I feel like that moment really was a big shift.